or just read them or like gloss over them. I'm going to go all out on that company part. Does that make sense? Okay, let's move on a little bit. Cutting rope, cutting leather, cutting pennies, cutting food. Okay, so let's do this. Perform, durable, and what's the most important one? Hang on, this is really important. Cutting rope, cutting leather, cutting food, but especially cutting food. When I cut that food for you, what were you feeling? I want it. Does that make sense? I want it. Because I want to have that feeling instead of the crummy feeling using my own knives. That's why we let our customers cut so much with it. The more they cut, the more they want it. And the more they want it, the more likely they are to purchase. Does that make sense? You know what's so nice, I think, about this company is everything is broken down almost to a science. Right? There's no guesswork involved. We're not saying, hey, I hope you're good because you're naturally talented. All we're saying is, hey, we know you're going to be good. All you got to do is follow this book and look nice and smile and cut some food. Does that make sense? We're not going to leave it up to your talent. Okay. This next part is kind of a tricky one, but it's real important. Here we go. These are made with the philosophy of planned obsolescence. They have to be replaced over and over. The average knife is engineered to break or go dull within 2 years, causing a high replacement cost.
Why is it save money?
Okay. There's only one part in the entire demonstration where we cover this one. And how important is this one? There's only one part in the whole presentation. Do you remember how yesterday I was like, this is the most important paragraph of this whole thing. You've got to pay attention. Please listen up. Well, that's because I already know if you got nothing else of training but you did a good job, you're going to handle this one. Does that make sense? So when you're covering the whole junk knife section, is not necessarily to gross out your customers or tell them how crappy everything else is. It's just to show them, hey, look, you need knives. I know you didn't call me. I called you. Okay, I get that. But look, you're gonna have to replace your knives at some point. I don't care who you are, rich, poor, indifferent. You gotta replace your knives at some point. Here's what else is out there. You need knives. I don't care if you buy from my company. I don't care if you buy from another company. I'm not necessarily here to tell you what to do. I am telling you, though, you're going to need knives. Fact. And that's what you cover right there. You get that needed part out of the way. And that's so important, right? Okay, and we can go on and on with this, but when we get to the guarantee, and we talk about the guarantee, that covers the guarantee. When we say that we'll come and sharpen it for your house for free, that covers customer service. When we cover the fact that we'll fix it or replace it for free, we cover you'll never have to replace it. We also cover save money, correct? We also cover a little bit of save time. We also cover last. When we do, the names and uses, and we're cutting the food and we're handing them the pieces, that's where we really get the wanted part. So all I'm telling you is this. Frankly, we probably could have skipped everything that we've done today. I mean, we could have. We probably could have skipped everything that we did today. I'm not saying it was a waste of time. In fact, I think it was the best investment of our time. Because I could have just said, here's the manual, here's who you go see, here's how you book appointments, go book up appointments, and we're going to pay you. And you know what? If you'd have followed the manual, you guys would have been just fine, and you would have made sales. But I think taking the extra step, and now the fact that you actually understand every single thing we've covered, every single thing that you say, what the purpose is, what the meaning is, where to emphasize, where to be enthusiastic, what you're covering, how to build value, how a customer's viewing the presentation, what's going on in the customer's minds as they're listening to you, when to do the demonstrations, how to cut the food. I think those things will make you much more effective. And unfortunately, I don't have time to do that with the people in the other room. but I do have time to do it with you guys. Does that make sense? You feel good about your training so far? Great. So now, it's time to close the deal. It's time to get paid. It's time to wrap up the orders. So let's talk about closing the sale, okay? Let's talk about how to do that. So, when it comes time to closing the deal, all right? When it comes time to close the deal, that's BMW 700 series, 600, 500, yes, 300, and used BMWs. Absolutely. Okay. All right. You guys ready for this? Okay. So, let's talk about closing here for a second. With closing, okay? Closing, let me just share this with you. Closing is not something to be nervous about. Because closing is not like getting one big yes at the end of the presentation. Does that make sense? Closing is not an event. It is a process. In fact, the matter is, if you're doing the demonstration, if you just follow it, you've been closing the whole time. Right? I mean, you closed people in the company. You closed during the junk knife section of why you need new knives. You closed during the feature benefits about why Cutco's better. You closed on the guarantee it's a solid investment. You closed during names and uses about here's the pieces you're going to need. This is probably the best set for you. So by the time we get to the end of the presentation, it's not like we're going, hey, let's get this big yes. It's here are the prices and here's what's out there and what works best for your budget. It's a pretty clear cut that the customer is going to purchase. It's just a matter of how much and what they're going to get. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's take, for example, cars. I had a buddy of mine, his name is Jonathan Women, he runs our Houston office, and I've known him since I was 6 years old. We worked in the company together. He's a district manager, and he had a car that he was saving up for, which was BMW. For a long time, he saved up to buy a brand new car. And my buddy, you know, young-looking guy, we had gone to the bar the night before, like, you know, woke up, cargo shorts on, t-shirt with like some holes in it, you know, backwards cap, sunglasses on, you know, not looking very nice. Pull up in like a 1970 Honda or something like that with the bumper falling off to like this BMW dealership. Now my buddy's been saving up. He could probably buy any of those cars on the lot, but we got there, he gets out, he's looking at the cars, walking around, checking them all out, and it must have been 10 minutes before a car, you know, dealer came up to us and said, "Can I help you?" And my buddy kind of turns around and he goes, "Yeah, you know, I want to buy a BMW." And the salesman kind of looks at him and looks at his car and looks back at him and goes, "Okay, no problem. Why don't you come with me? We've got some really nice 300 series and used BMWs that I think would be suitable for you." And at that point, at that time, obviously my friend was very offended. He'd been prejudged based on how he looks and the car that he drives. And so the salesperson, instead of treating him like he would any other person, judged him and stereotyped. Now I'm going to tell you, my friend got in his car, had some words with the guy, got in his car, and we left. And we went to the next BMW dealership right after that. Same day, same car, same clothes, everything. We got out at this BMW dealership,